Beneath the frozen surface of the Arctic, life follows a calm and steady rhythm. A lone seal swims through the icy, crystal-clear waters, completely unaware of the intense events about to unfold on the ice above. Reaching a small breathing hole, a female seal emerges into the cold, unforgiving air. It is the mating season, a short but important period in this harsh frozen landscape. She pauses on the ice to rest, unaware that her arrival has already sparked competition beneath the surface. Moments later, a large male seal follows her to the ice. He approaches carefully, beginning a calm and cautious courtship display. In this remote frozen world, finding a mate is never easy. He tries to win her attention, slowly moving closer in hopes of passing on his genes before another long Arctic winter arrives. But in nature, nothing is ever certain. A second male suddenly breaks through the ice, ending the brief moment of calm. The situation changes immediately. What begins as a display of strength quickly turns into open aggression as the two rivals collide. The frozen air echoes with loud calls and the heavy impact of their bodies. The courtship has now become a fierce battle over territory and the chance to mate. Within seconds, the confrontation grows into a powerful physical fight. The two males bite, push, and strike each other, driven by instinct and powerful breeding hormones. Locked in an intense struggle, neither one is willing to give up. Their focus on each other leaves them completely unaware of the deadly threat moving across the surrounding ice. Not far away, a giant hunter is searching for food. A polar bear, the Arctic's top predator, patrols the frozen sea, driven by constant hunger. The thick ice supports its massive weight as it quietly moves toward the unmistakable sounds of the fighting seals. Without warning, the polar bear launches its attack. In an instant, panic replaces aggression. The seals abandon their fight as survival becomes their only priority. In a frantic attempt to survive, the seals leave the surface and dive headfirst through the narrow breathing hole, disappearing into the cold, dark water below. The massive polar bear reaches the spot only seconds too late. He carefully watches the disturbed water, sensing the scent of prey that has just escaped. But this experienced hunter understands the Arctic better than any other predator. He knows the seals cannot remain underwater forever. Sooner or later, they must return to the surface for air. Patience is one of the polar bear's greatest hunting advantages. He lowers his huge body beside the breathing hole and remains completely motionless, blending into the frozen surroundings. Minutes slowly pass. Below the ice, the frightened seals face an unavoidable challenge. Their oxygen supply is running out, forcing them to make a dangerous decision. The bear waits without moving, listening for even the smallest movement beneath the ice. Eventually, one seal can no longer hold its breath. It begins swimming upward, leaving the safety of the deep water, hoping the predator is no longer waiting above. It makes the wrong choice. With incredible speed and power, the polar bear strikes. His powerful jaws close around the seal, pulling it onto the ice with little effort. His long wait is finally rewarded. After feeding on the seal's energy-rich blubber, the Arctic predator finally takes a moment to rest. He carefully cleans his large paws, licking away every trace of the hunt. In this harsh environment, where food is difficult to find, one successful meal provides the energy needed to survive. His strength is restored, and his position remains secure. But life in the Arctic is never peaceful for long. Shaking the snow from his thick winter coat, the bear rises and prepares to continue his patrol. He is the dominant hunter across this section of the frozen landscape. As he scans the distance, he notices movement through the blowing snow. Another fully grown male polar bear has entered the area, stepping directly into his territory. The resident bear immediately focuses on the approaching rival. The cold air fills with tension. He releases a deep, powerful roar, warning the newcomer to stay away. He has no intention of giving up his territory without a fight. But the approaching bear refuses to back down. Driven by hunger and determination, he answers with a loud roar of his own, accepting the challenge. The distance between them continues to shrink. Two enormous males, each weighing well over 1,000 pounds, carefully study one another. Their loud calls echo across the frozen ice as each tries to intimidate the other. Neither bear is willing to retreat. They slowly circle each other, their warm breath turning into clouds of steam in the freezing air. The Arctic seems completely silent as both apex predators prepare for a direct confrontation. This is a battle for dominance. The growing tension finally reaches its limit. The two bears collide with tremendous force. Sharp teeth and powerful claws are unleashed as the fight begins. They wrestle fiercely, each trying to overpower the other through strength and endurance. Snow flies into the air as the giant bears slam one another onto the hard frozen ground. It is a demanding and intense display of pure strength. Heavy strikes are exchanged as both bears fight with full force, leaving deep wounds on each other. Under their combined weight, even the thick Arctic ice seems to strain. Every bite is deliberate, driven by the powerful instinct to survive. There is no room for mistakes. Only the stronger bear will remain standing. As the battle continues, exhaustion begins to take over. The injured intruder gradually loses his determination. Realizing he cannot match the strength of his opponent, he finally gives up his attempt to take control of the territory. The resident bear responds with one final warning charge. The defeated rival quickly backs away toward the edge of the ice, choosing survival instead of continuing the fight. He slips into the freezing water below, leaving the battlefield behind to recover from his injuries and search for another place to hunt. Back on the ice, the victorious bear stands firmly near the edge. He releases a deep roar into the cold Arctic wind, signaling that he has successfully defended his territory. As the defeated bear disappears into the endless gray waters, the dominant male remains on the shoreline, breathing heavily after the exhausting battle. The frozen landscape is once again under his control. For now, the natural balance has been restored. But in the unforgiving Arctic, survival is a constant challenge that never truly comes to an end.